Hello and welcome to this post-match live session IPL game number 6 Kolkata Knight Riders versus Rajasthan Royals at the Baraspara Cricket Stadium, Guwahati. This was Rajasthan Royals home venue, so to speak, but it was far from the home venue that Rajasthan Royals would have hoped for because Kolkata Knight Riders have pummeled Rajasthan Royals by 8 wickets, chasing down a modest target of 151 with over 2 overs to spare, and of course 8 wickets in hand as star performers. Well, it was Quinton de Kock, the new recruit for Kolkata Knight Riders, performing with the bat and unfortunately missing out, unbeaten on 97 of 61 deliveries. I think Raghuvanshi scoring 22, unbeaten of 17 deliveries as they chase down the target from the bowling department. Well, nothing to write home about for the Rajasthan Royals. With Panindu Hasaranga, the only wicket taker, picking a 1 wicket for 34. But the game was set up pretty much by the KKR bowlers, Spencer Johnson, Vaibhav Arora, Harshit Rana, Moeen Ali, and Varun Chakravarti, all combining to take 9 wickets, one for Spencer, while Vaibhav, Harshit, Moeen, and Varun picked up 2 wickets each. A below par performance from Rajasthan Royals with the bat. Dhruv Jurel, the only shining star for them, 33 of 28 deliveries. Ryan Parag, the captain, did contribute with 25 of the order, but overall a very shoddy performance with the bat. And to discuss further on this, I have my colleague Amar Panikar, his debut for Cricket Next live YouTube here. Welcome to the show, Amar, and hope you would have a good debut. Unlike good bat or a good day, unlike Rajasthan Royals, a very shoddy performance from Rajasthan Royals, coming especially on the back of the brutal assault they had faced against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. We would have expected Rajasthan Royals, to put up a better performance with the bat, especially considering this was their home venue.
Uh, yeah, but to be honest, considering how good the KKR's bowling attack is, even without Sunil Narayan, they have a couple of good players in hand. So I didn't expect much from this team. But let's be honest, it's Quinton de Kock who kind of paced his innings to take it that deep in the first place. So I mean, if they probably sent in someone like a Russell or something, this game would have ended pretty quickly. If I'm being honest.
That is true. I mean, ever since right when the time we were there looking at this game, and the moment they ended up with 151 on the board, it was kind of pretty much, there were hints pretty much clear that this is going to be a lopsided contest, one-sided contest, until and unless Rajasthan Royals would pick up their bowlers, join the party and probably have a good day, and which was not the case. As I mentioned, only one into Hasranga, the wicket taker with 1 wicket. The other wicket fell, that of Moeen Ali was just an innocuous run out that Moeen Ali would be blaming himself for, nobody else. He can blame that on Ryan Parag, did being a part of that. But then again, shoddy performance with the bat, shoddy performance with the ball. Let's take it from the top itself. One of the striking things from Rajasthan Royals' perspective was the fact that you saw a decent enough start from Yashasvi Jaiswal and Sanju Samson. Ryan Parag also getting a good start, but it was the middle order where you had Amandu Hasranga coming at number 5, Nitish Rana at 8, and Dhruv Jurel, who had batted so beautifully, coming way down the order at number 6. You would have thought they may well have, it would have been better for Rajasthan to have Dhruv Jurel up the order, considering the form that he was in, and maybe bring down a one into Hasranga. But then again, it was the middle overs where there was a choke. Moeen Ali, who came in replacing Sunil Narayan, who was not available for this game, and Varun Chakravarti, really stifling Rajasthan Royals in that middle over.
I mean, yeah, but it's like we saw this in the previous season as well. They'll just send in Ashwin when, just to get some quick runs or something like that. But Hasaranga, I don't think he comes that close in terms of quality batting
Right.
wise. So, yeah, they tried the same old tactic, but nothing new came out of it. Let's be honest. Hasaranga, they tried, he went in like what, the same over itself. So yeah, I mean they were better off sending a Jurel, considering he's in good form. He's their highest scorer at the moment. But yeah, I mean they just didn't play the spin side of things correctly. If I'm being honest, even when they brought in the spinners early on, they're still trying to go for that SRH kind of attack or all guns blazing approach. But yeah, I mean this is what you expect. Like if you keep attacking, even when the conditions are a bit suited to the spinners, so yeah, you can expect, especially with the quality the guys like Varun and Moeen have. They have a lot of experience, so yeah, it's not surprising to see that they crumbled as bad as they did.
Yeah, yeah. The crumbling part was pretty much what you would have expected in many ways because KKR has such a strong bowling attack, especially in the middle. Even despite the fact that they did not have a Sunil Narayan, they did have a Moeen Ali to go back to. They had a Varun Chakravarti who contributed well, but for me, it was the opening spells. What Vaibhav Arora and what maybe Spencer Johnson managed to do. I mean, the wicket of Samson, I saw it in replay from Vaibhav Arora completely missing the line by somebody like Samson. And he had two good shots to his name. Ryan Parag also started off really well, beautifully. That straight six, I think, of it was Spencer Johnson was one of the shots of the night for me. Jaswal also had his start, gone out to Moeen Ali. You thought that the top three of Jaswal, Samson, Parag, considering you had a Rana, Hasaranga, Jurel, and Shubham Dubey had to be subbed in. You thought they should have played with bit more accountability, responsibility in a way that like not every game is going to have get scores of over 200, 220, or 240. Even though this is a very good batting track, you would consider 180, 170 probably was par here, and maybe a Samson Jaiswal were trying to just aim for that 200, 200 total. And the way they got out, it really pretty much told the story where they just were trying to go gung ho.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw Jaiswal start, I thought that maybe he's getting that groove, he's getting into that groove, and maybe he'll possibly set himself up to play the entire innings. But that clearly wasn't the case. I mean, it's a balance between trying to maximize what you get in the power play and trying to save your wickets as well. So. Uh, I mean, Samson, he's always been this kind of a player where he just attacks, especially once he started opening the innings, right from the Indian games. But yeah, I mean, there needs to be a bit more awareness being shown, especially from the senior guys. Maybe certain tracks are not meant for like the 200
Yeah, right.
winning scores and all. So yeah, I mean, the top three, I mean, Jaiswal and Samson, though they have enough experience under their belt, so they should show that they have the kind of ability to gauge what kind of a score the particular track is, and this clearly wasn't a 200 score. Yeah, like you said, maybe 180 something would have been ideal. 170, 180 would have been ideal, but yeah, the approach right from the start may not have been ideal for these guys.
Yeah, the approach wasn't the most ideal one, and one of the things that has not been ideal for Rajasthan Royals is the fact that their designated captain Sanju Samson is not on the field. He's nursing a finger injury, so he comes in to bat, and then he's subbed off and in place. Ryan Prag is the guy who's captaining them. The first game wasn't the greatest for him. Trial by fire, so to speak, trial by sunrisers fire, to say specifically, but there were questions marks over his captaincy, the kind of decisions that he was making the first game also. In the second game also, you saw, especially with the ball when he was on the field. For example, Jofra Archer, yes, he was being hit. I mean, last game he had he registered the worst figures for a bowler uh, uh, in the IPL in a 4 over spell. And this time all around also, yes, he did start off well in the first over, just giving it 2 runs. But after that, he was taken for runs. Mahesh Theekshana, the spinner, you brought him with the new ball. Okay, fine. I mean, he is a very good new ball bowler. Ball's very good with the new ball, but you would have wanted him some more support for him there because Ryan Parag himself came on to bowl decent enough, but Sandeep Sharma bowled only 2 overs with an economy of 5.50. Yet you went ahead with the Jafra Archer. Yet you went, with the Manindu Hasaranga. You did try out Nitish Rana. You try out Tushar Deshpande just bowling 1 over. There was lack of clarity, so to speak, in that bowling attack. Was it primarily because of what Quinton de Kock managed to do? Uh, to the Rajasthan bowlers, or you had a sense where this is a very muddled, decision making in terms of bowlers, which bowler to use when, like Tushar Deshpande just 1 over, Sandeep Sharma just 2 overs, you yourself bowling 4 overs out. Yes, you did have a decent economy of 6.20, but the need of the hour was wickets, right? So why would you get yourself in as a part timer, so to speak, and not try to take wickets early on?
Yeah, I mean, definitely there must be a bit of inexperience coming to play. He definitely didn't have an easy start to leading the side, because SRH is probably the last team you want to start off with. But in this game also, I mean, I expected that maybe Parag would have a bit more understanding, considering all the home ground advantage kind of, and he's played for Assam there, so I expected him to kind of have a better understanding, but it wasn't the case. I mean, yeah, I mean, we know that there was a bit of turn for the spinners, but once the second innings comes, the whole due factor comes into play. Maybe he was thinking that maybe, yeah, I'll try bowling a bit of spin early on to try get something, but it didn't really pan out much. So yeah, I mean, for the Royals, and they will be hoping that Samson gets back onto the field as soon as possible. But obviously, commitments for India will come as a much bigger priority. So yeah, I mean, the quicker he comes back, the better for the Royals. But I mean, in general, even the last two games, I mean, even these two games, the roles for the bowlers have also not been very clear as such. So I don't know whether it's just for the start of the season, or whether there hasn't been much planning going prior to the season. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of thinking that Rajasthan Royals would have to do. And on that note, Sports Fan, one of our regular viewers, have commented this wicket aided spin bowlers, but our spin duo of Thikshna and Hasaranga failed to deliver the way KKR spinners Moeen and Chakravarti delivered absolutely right. The way Varun Chakravarti has been in a league of his own, so to speak, with the ball, even with the Indian team, the Champions Trophy, IPL also. Varun Chakravarti, you can keep Varun Chakravarti aside, but that's a very good point that Sportsman says. Moeen Ali, again, a very good spinner has been. I mean, you can't really categorize him into a part-time spinner role, but then again, that's what he does. I mean, he's primarily in any team for his batting. His bowling is always a bonus, but he combining with Varun Chakravarti and of course RR spin duo of Tikshna and Hasaranga failing. Tikshna got the new ball as I mentioned, but he did not have the support. He probably needed to have somebody like an Hasaranga alongside him to bowl. It was Rayan Parag who was bowling decent enough spells there. But do you think is it more to do with Tikshna and Hasaranga failing to give their own, give their best, or not having the best of days, as opposed to Rajasthan were always 20 to 30 runs short?
Um, um, if you think about it, it's like, anyways, the total is less, so that really plays into how the second innings goes. The batters will already have decided that maybe we can afford to play out the spinners, maybe take a more non-risky approach, and
Yeah.
just whack the pacers as and when you get the chance. But I mean, it just makes the job much more difficult for a Tikshan and Hasaranga, who are probably not in the best of forms of late. So yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, I guess. Maybe if they had more runs to work with, the batters could have maybe taken much more attacking shots against them. But nonetheless, these two are experienced enough to deal with these situations. But yeah, the lack of support really didn't help in the power play. So yeah.
Yeah, lack of support in a way from a bowling perspective as well, and the 20-30 run shot is probably what really led to Rajasthan Royals' second defeat, and that really puts them. It's a huge defeat, also. It will hit their run rate a bit. Before we end this, before we wrap up, a word on Kolkata Knight Riders batting. Quinton de Kock. I mean, we all know what Quinton de Kock has done in the past for the South African team, for all the other IPL teams that he has played for, most recently the LSG. The first game wasn't the greatest for him, but Quinton de Kock at the top of the order. We had this thing. How do KKR manage this? Would they go with a Rahmanullah Gurbaz, or would they go with a Quinton de Kock, a left-hander and a right-hander? Gurbaz was very good for them last year, but Quinton de Kock brings that X factor. And all of a sudden, with Quinton de Kock there, he had a Moeen Ali to open this time around. A very scratchy, very weird innings. The way he got out also was very weird. But keeping that aside, Quinton de Kock in terrific form. Ajinkya Rahane coming at number 3. Angakrish, you saw batting at number 4. All of a sudden, with Quinton de Kock in form, this Kolkata Knight Riders batting lineup does give you a different look. With if you add a Venkatesh Iyer, you add a Andre Russell, you add a Rinku Singh, you add a Ramandeep, and if Quinton de Kock, the pivotal guy at the top, gives you the start, there are people who can consolidate on that start, as we saw in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's a class player. He has been for quite some time. You can't really take that away from him just like that. So, yeah, it's not surprising that he performed the way he did today. I mean, when the conditions can be a bit more challenging, you expect someone like a Quinton de Kock to come out on top compared to a Gurbaz. But maybe in a more flat track, maybe Gurbaz can be more attacking. But I don't think it's enough to warrant Gurbaz a spot in the side. So I think
Yeah.
KKR have done the right move to continue backing Quinton de Kock considering his experience over the years.
Yeah, that's true. And in that way, KKR have opened their accounts, the defending champions, but without Shreyas Iyer and the winning combo of Gautam Gambhir. There is Sachin Kirani, Chandrakant Pandit, and a few new players added to the mix as well. But after a tough loss in the season opener against Royal Challengers Bangalore, KKR are on the board with 2 points. On the other hand, Rajasthan Royals have suffered their second consecutive defeat. And Amar, in a way, one final word on Rajasthan Royals, how they were last time around. I mean, it looked like a team that was one of the primary title contenders. This time around, not so much. And just to remind you, they were so good at controlling the middle overs because you had an Ashwin, you had a Yajwendra Chahal, you had a Trent Bolt up the top of the order to give you wickets. Here, Theekshana maybe doesn't have that same control as Ashwin. Hasranga doesn't probably have the same wicket-taking ability as the Yajwendra Chahal, even though Hasranga has been uh, for the most part of his career, number one T20I bowler. But they're just lacking a trend goal at the top of the order. They're just lacking the essence of the DNA of what Rajasthan Royals were in the past 2 3 years, and that puts out an added pressure on somebody like a Samson, who again, unfortunately, because of things out of his control, he's not there manning it as a captain there.
Yeah, I mean, right after the auction itself, you knew that maybe it's not as good as a bowling attack they had the previous years. But considering this coming season for RR per se, they need Samson to come back. Perhaps his presence alone might be able to get a bit better performances from the bowlers. But yeah, it's a tough job for him now. I mean, you have a Rahul Dravid, and the coaching side of things. Maybe he can give some words of wisdom to the bowlers and see maybe things can turn around for them as quickly as possible, because already two losses, two tough losses, the net run rate, it doesn't look good for them. So if at all they are to push for a top four spot, they need to start as soon as possible. But considering how all the other teams are performing, so yeah.
Yeah, it was always going to be a very tough season. The hints of it were there in the first two games as well, but tough time for Rayan Parag, the captain. He'll have the captaincy hat on him for at least one more games or maybe couple of games. But would Rajasthan Royals be able to turn this around? That would be the big question. For KKR, they've had a decent start. They've one loss and one win. Ajinkya Rahane would be a happy man, as he was in the press conference, post-match presentation, that he was talking about. Quinton de Kock is among them, and Varun Chakravarti is definitely, in the informed player. And the biggest takeaway for KKR here would be that they were managed to get a win over a good side without their talisman Sunil Narayan there. So that's a big plus for Kolkata Knight Riders. And with that, we will have come to the end of the show. Thank you, Amar, for your valuable insights, and I hope it was a good debut that you enjoyed. Our viewers also would have enjoyed this debut. We will be back again with another match, another pre-match and post-match tomorrow. So till then, that's it. This is me, Neat, signing off alongside Amar Panikya. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.